What's up everyone, Ninth Jim here, back with another VGC 2020 Pokemon Sword and Shield competitive video, and today we are going to be talking about Alolan-Raichu. This is a Pokemon that I'm honestly kind of surprised that I haven't covered yet. I have covered it on the channel by the means of battle videos. I have two different videos with a team of this guy on my channel, so I'll link one right up there in the top right corner. You can click on it right now, and if you want to, or you can come back, or whatever. Anyway, so Alolan-Raichu, the biggest thing about it is it has the ability called Surge Surfer, which doubles its speed in electric terrain. Now, I've talked about this so many times where any ability that doubles your speed is a great ability. We see so many Unburdened Pokemon, we see so many Chlorophyll, Swift Swim, Sand Rush. All of the weather Pokemon are viable. Not every one of them are the best, but all of them are viable and have really cool things that they can do, and Alolan-Raichu is one of those Pokemon. This Pokemon synergizes really well with things like Pinsirgen that we have right now, being able to set up the Surge, and then be fast. We also have Expanding Force that this Pokemon can get, since it's a dual typing Pokemon, Electric Psychic. It can get Psychic coverage, which is Expanding Force. So we can use two different terrains on this Pokemon, or two different partner Pokemon that set different terrains. So usually you'll see Alolan-Raichu partnered with Pinsirchen or Indeedee or both. And that's why, because you have Expanding Force and Rising Voltage and Surge Surfer. So both are really good. This Pokemon has seen a lot of play in past formats, mostly VGC 2017 with Tapu Koko, since Tapu Koko has that same Surge ability, the Electric Surge, that activates electric terrain on switch in. So you lead Alolan-Raichu plus Tapu Koko. Now you have a fast Alolan-Raichu and, well, Tapu Koko. So it's pretty good. And we're going to get our Tapu Koko back in November, most likely. I believe it's been guaranteed now, but I don't know that for a 100% fact. Anyway, let's talk about this Pokemon's stats a little bit. So it is pretty solid stats. It has pretty good offense with special attack at 95, mostly because it has access to those two crazy moves, Rising Voltage and Expanding Force. So 95 base power with those great moves is pretty solid. We also have speed at 110, which is very, very solid for a base. We use this Pokemon very, very fast. In that way, it's very fast under Indeedee's Psychic Terrain for fast Expanding Forces, and it's unbelievably fast in its electric terrain. So that about sums up this Pokemon. It's pretty frail. It has pretty low defensive stats. So, we just focus Sash and then attack a lot. That is pretty much it for this Pokemon's overview. Let's talk about the build. So, as far as our VGC build, we went with Surge Surfer as its only ability, so we have to use it. We also went with Focus Sash. Now, there's a couple of different items that you could use. The reason I went for Focus Sash is because we're very not bulky. Like I was saying, we're very squishy for a Pokemon. So, having access to Focus Sash is pretty solid, making it so that we can just do relevant attacks the entire time, and then don't really have to worry about anything else. As far as the actual set goes itself, we went for Expanding Force, Rising Voltage, Fake Out, and Protect. I thought this was pretty good. Dual Stab, Protect, and Move of Choice is pretty good for sweeping Pokemon of this, nature. So we have Expanding Force and Rising Voltage for our stab moves that do a lot of damage in the correct terrain, and then we also have Fake Out, which is just good. I mean, obviously you can't use Fake Out when you have your Psychic Terrain up, but you have to play around that correctly. And then you also have Protect, which I just like Protect on this Pokemon, especially on a Focus Sash. I think, Protect is really good on a lot of Pokemon, and this is one of them. Anyway, as far as other options we have for this Pokemon, there's a lot of different options. So first off, with items, we could try Choice Specs. I played Choice Specs recently. In one of the battle videos, I'll go ahead and show that one up there on the top right now. We used Choice Specs Raichu for moves. It was pretty good. I believe the set was Expanding Force, Rising Voltage, Surf, and something else. And I can't remember it right now. Maybe it was Fake Out. But it's a good set. It's pretty strong. The Pokemon can max if need be, but you probably won't want to if you're running Choice Specs. But still, if you do want to max this Pokemon or intend to have the flexibility to Dynamax this Pokemon, I would suggest Life Orb as well, giving you that 1.3 times damage output whenever you're Dynamax or regular. So you just have 30% more damage all the time, when Choice Specs gives you 50% more, not when you're not Dynamaxed, as well as then locking you choice items. So, a couple of good options there. I still opt to go Focus Sash. As far as options for your moves, there's a lot of them as well. So, Volt Switch was the fourth move for the Choice Specs set, just so you know. Volt Switch works really well with choice specs because it switches you out. If you don't like, you lead this Pokemon, you don't like your lead, you can Volt Switch out. It's very, very fast under terrain, so you're like instantly in a pretty good position. But let's talk about some other options. So we have Volt Switch, which is a good option, especially for choice specs. We have Surf as well for good coverage, as well as Focus Blast and Grass Knot. All three are good coverage moves. Grass Knot is medium right now, though, because it does not work on Dynamax type Pokemon. I said Dynamax type, like it's a typing. It's not a typing. Any Pokemon can Dynamax. Anyway, Grass Knot does nothing to Dynamax Pokemon, so, play it if you want, but I don't really like Grass Knot that much right now. Next, we have some other moves. So I like a lot of support moves that Raichu can get. And, as much as I like to use it as an offensive Pokemon, it does have a lot of really good status, support type moves. So we'll talk about those now. So we have Nuzzle, which is very good on Raichu. We've used Nuzzle in every single normal Raichu set, not Alola, that I've ever used in my entire life. Nuzzle is just really good. It's just guaranteed paralysis. Well, it's 100%, so it's 99.7%. But yeah, it's very good. It does a little bit of damage, so you'll have to be careful of like weakness policy mons as well. Like weakness policy Togekiss, you nuzzle it, and then it just gets really buff and then kills you sometimes. So that's something to be aware of. We also get Charm as Raichu-Alola, which is really, really cool because Charm I like a lot. It -2s the attack, and since Surge Surfer is active, you're going to be very, very fast. So it's essentially, it's not going to be Prankster, but it's going to be the fastest thing on the field. So, it goes right under things like Prankster, which is good, but not optimal, but good. Charm is good. Fast Charm is good. Next, we have Helping Hand. Helping Hand is just, good. I don't really have to talk about that. We have Speed Swap next, which is crazy. 178 is really fast, so even if, you swap with, a medium Pokemon, you're still going to get that double from Surge Surfer, so you'll be able to, switch over, trade your fast speed to a mid-speed Pokemon or a slow Pokemon, and then double their speed on yourself. So, if you hit, a Pokemon with 100 speed, that Pokemon is now 178 speed, but now you're 100 speed, but then it doubles in the Surge. So then you go to 200 speed, and then you're both some of the fastest Pokemon on the field. So that's definitely a really good option. I think Speed Swap is definitely an underrated thing that you can do with Raichu, and I like that a lot. Next, also, Speed Swap is really cool with Pinsirchin. You, lead Pinsirchin Raichu, and then have, support Raichu with things like Helping Hand, Fake Out, and Speed Swap, and then have your Pinsirchin and make your Pinsirchin fast and Dynamax it. Maybe that'll be an idea. I don't know. A video idea, maybe. We'll see. Anyway, Speed Swap. Enough about Speed Swap. We also have Nasty Plot for this Pokemon, which is really cool, giving you a +2 special attack. It's pretty solid. And then we also have Encore, which is really good against setup Pokemon and Trick Room Pokemon. It's kind of better in singles. It's still very good in VGC. You have a lot of really strong usages. Hit a Pokemon that's tricking, and then it can't play the game. You hit a Pokemon that Trick Room, can't play the game. It's just, Encore is good. So, I like it, especially on a fast Pokemon. Anyway, that is going to be it for our moves and options. Let's talk about the EV spread real quick, but I'm going to talk about it very, very quick because it's just 252 into special attack and 252 into speed. With that Timid Nature, the 4 left over into HP. I just wanted to be as fast as possible because we're not always going to be in electric terrain half of the time, or maybe even more because I think it's a little bit better. We are going to be in psychic terrain a lot of the time. So I just wanted to be as fast as possible, without taking anything away from speed. Makes sense. Anyway, that is going to be it for Raichu VGC Build. Let's go ahead and talk about two Pokemon that are synergetic real quick. And I already pretty much talked about them. Pinsirchin, sets electric terrain. It's good. It does some damage. It has good coverage. Speed Swap could be really cool. I think it gets Helping Hand, which puts us in a range for a lot of, big knockouts. And it's good in general. But I think when we get Tapu Koko, bye-bye Pinsirchin. It was nice talking to you, but not really. Next we have Indeedee, female. Preferably. Male could work as well if you want to go for a dual, very, very, very offensive team. That could be really hyper offense, is Raichu plus Indeedee. But I think if you make both of them offensive Pokemon, they both kind of want to fight for the Focus Sash. So you'll kind of have to opt to Dynamax one and give it Life Orb. And then the other one gets Focus Sash, or maybe even not Dynamax one and then give it choice specs. So that's a couple of different ideas, but I think the main one here is Indeedee male, or Indeedee female, because of the fact that it can set up with, Follow Me, Helping Hand is very good. We also do have Expanding Force on them as well. But for the male, you could also go Trick Room because Raichu doesn't really like Trick Room because it's very fast. Anyway, that is just a couple of ideas. Let's go ahead and move on now because I'm 10 minutes into the video and we haven't even talked about speed tiers yet. So let's talk about speed tiers. So, very fast. If you can look at the very, very top of the screen, 378.6, very fast. That's like unbelievably fast. We're outspeeding Dragapult after a max Airstream, Scarf, or Dragon Dance. This is unbelievable. We outspeed Excadrill at Sand Rush. We outspeed Venusaur at Chlorophyll. We outspeed every single Swift Swim Pokemon, even Barraskewda. Yeah, that's right. Even Barraskewda. And I'm saying this before I fact check, so don't quote me 100%, but yeah, faster than Barraskewda. Okay, alright, so faster than Barraskewda, or we're on the same speed tier. I'm double checking right now. Checking. That's not a word. Anyway, I'm double checking right now. Barraskewda is at 376 with neutral nature instead of positive nature, but if it goes with the positive nature, so Jolly, it would go to 412. But it's at 376, which is the same as us, so we are as fast as Barraskewda, which is pretty crazy. Anyway, really fast. If we're going to talk about different terrain, though, if your opponent Rillabooms or you bring out your Indeedee, we are not going to be in electric terrain, doubling our speed, so we are going to be down at 178, which is still very fast. We are only getting outsped by a couple of relevant Pokemon, things like Whimsicott, Dragapult, Venusaur, a couple of lower tier Pokemon that we're probably not going to see very much, but might. Weavile, Inteleon, pretty much it. Other than that, we outspeed just about everything. Durant, Charizard, Arcanine, Indeedee Male, Excadrill, Rillaboom, Duraludon. The list goes on and on. We outspeed so many Pokemon at 178. It's a very, very solid speed tier to be on. We are on the same speed tier as regular Raichu, though, so keep that in mind, too. Just cuz. Anyway, that is going to be it for speed tiers. Let's go ahead and move on and talk about some damage calcs. So as far as damage calcs go, I did only offensive damage calcs. Since we're Focus Sash and very squishy, we're going to be getting two-shotted by just about everything, or one-shotted if they also have weather and super effective attack. So, it is what it is. But let's talk about some damage calcs that we deal to opposing Pokemon. Now, little disclaimer, I forgot to change Dazzling Gleam over to Expanding Force. What I do is I change Dazzling Gleam to that 120 damage, and then also change its typing to Psychic, so that we get that multi-hitting move, but the correct move. So all of those Dazzling Gleams, the two calcs that say Dazzling Gleam, those two, they're actually Expanding Force, just to go ahead and get that off the table, so you're not like, why are you using Dazzling Gleam? You didn't even. Anyway, so Raichu-Alola, Rising Voltage into Togekiss in electric terrain, a pretty bulky Togekiss, 236 HP and 12 special defenses, the suggested spread, so that's what we went with. We are hitting 114 to 136.8%, which is a guaranteed OHKO against non-Dynamax Togekiss, pretty bulky. It's not super bulky into special defense, but, we hit 114 as the low, so, there's range for them to have some special defense, investments and still be able to take that OHKO guaranteed. Now, if it does max and has 0 HP, so if it's the Super Dynamax Scope Lens variant that Dynamaxes and has 0 HP, we are hitting about 70 to 83% in our terrain with Rising Voltage. Now, this is a pretty good calc to know, that we don't just OHKO, 0 HP Togekiss, like, right off the bat, like, anyway, let me double check this one more time. Yeah. About 68 to, 70 to 83%. So that's, like, not a bad calc to have. That plus Rock Slide from, like, Tyranitar, or that plus, almost any move is taking that OHKO, that turn one knockout. So that is very good to have. Next, we have Thunderbolt. This is supposed to be Rising Voltage as well. Whoops. I forgot to change them all. But, every Thunderbolt is Rising Voltage at max power. Every Dazzling Gleam is not max, or is Expanded Force in max power. Sorry about that. Anyway, Raichu-Alola, Rising Voltage into Primarina in electric terrain, hitting 118 to 141% into a 252 HP Primarina. This is really good to have. If it Dynamaxes, whatever, we hit 60 to 70%. That's still a good bit of damage, and it's not too scary to us anyway. Next, we have Expanding Force into Venusaur in Psychic Terrain. We are hitting 103 to 123%, which is guaranteed OHKO, but if it maxes, we are hitting 51 to 61, which is still a lot of damage, but, not an OHKO. That's a guaranteed 2 OHKO, though, which is really good, into, like, a Dynamaxed Venusaur, which is very good. And, but most of the time it's going to Vine Lash, and then it'll probably knock us out through Sash, so, like, that's not a great matchup. Next, we have Alolan Raichu Dazzling Gleam, which is actually Expanding Force into pretty bulky Amoonguss. This is 236 HP, 92 special defense. This is the most used spread on Pikalytics right now. In Psychic Terrain, we are hitting 79 to 94%, which is a lot of damage, but it does knock it right into its Figgy Berry, and then they're gonna, like, you know, switch it out and then go back to almost full health. So not the best calc. But if we have Helping Hand, which indeed male and female have, I believe, at least female definitely has that. Helping Hand hits 118 to 140%, which is a lot of damage. Guaranteed OHKO, yada yada yada. That guy's gone, which is good. Although we are seeing an influx in Focus Sash Amoonguss, so you know it is what it is. Anyway, I'm gonna rush along here because we're 15 minutes in. Like that's long. Anyway, Rising Voltage into Talonflame in Electric Terrain, hitting 219 to 261 into a 4 HP. Even if it's bulky, we're taking that OHKO, no prob. Next, we have Raichu-Alola, you know, Thunderbolt. This time it's actually Thunderbolt. Whoops. Into maxed Gyarados. It's actually Rising Voltage without the boost. So, or no, it is Rising Voltage with the boost, but without Electric Terrain. So it would do an extra 30%. Anyway, an extra 30%, but it's already guaranteed OHKO on max, so that's a good calc. We take out Gyarados, no prob. As we should assume. But it might be Wakan Berry or Assault Vest, so that might change, but whatever. Anyway, that is going to be it for damage calcs. Let's talk about Single Spotlight real quick, and then I'll be out of your hair. The video will be over. I'm sorry it was so long. This was a very long video. Anyway, Raichu, Single Spotlight. This Pokemon doesn't really get much more mileage in singles than doubles. You know, in doubles, you have the knack to be able to easily set up you know, your terrain so that you can get all your boosts, your Surge Surfer, or your Rising Voltage, or your Expanding Force. Well, in singles, we're just using this as a Life Orb, Nasty Plot setup attacker that uses Surf, Psychic, and Thunderbolt, just doing as much damage as it can, an all-out attacker, but with Nasty Plot. So, that is pretty much it for Single Spotlight. That is it for the video in general. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. In sum up, Raichu is really, really good. I like it a lot. I think it's really cool. It's not the best right now, but we do get Tapu Koko impending, as well as Tapu Lele. So both of those Pokemon will be a significant boost to Raichu, and you know, I'm excited for that. In the meantime, I have used a couple of teams for Raichu, and they're both very fun. You know, so both of those will be you know, in cards variously through the video, and I'll also link them in the description. So if you want to watch this Pokemon in, you know, in action, click on those. Anyway, that is going to be it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. This video was very long, and I'm sorry it was so long, but if you're still here, like, comment, subscribe, makes a huge difference. Also, you know, join my Discord, follow me on Twitter, do all of those things. That's all I ask. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Have a great evening. Goodbye.